So in terms of the courses that you have, ne? For example, you were saying currently you've got this initiative where you say, I'm not a
job
seeker, I'm a job creator.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. What's your take about, sometimes as entrepreneurs, when we bring in people to businesses or to develop our business, should it be aligned to the vision as an entrepreneur or as an organization that you have? And what's your take about reconditioning people that help entrepreneurs on this journey? I think as well, that's one aspect that as entrepreneurs, we need to talk about such things.
Yeah. May I answer the second part of your question, because I think that's critical. You see, our support system, people who are employed to assist entrepreneurs, I think they need a lot of reconditioning or a lot of development, because you get people who are in our SMME agencies. Yes, they want employment, they understand a bit of business, but they are not aligned to what the entrepreneur is. For them is to push paper, to say we have started this thing. Because, if you think about, let's use the soccer analogy here, there will be a head coach, but the head coach will have scouts and things like that, people who assist him or her. So in that, they are specializing in this soccer thing, but they know that in order to identify the best, we need to scout. Now, it goes back to saying whether we have people who are entrepreneurial by birth, or I don't know whether they are made or they are from, but I think they are both. Some are entrepreneurial, they have courage, but others needs to be taught to be entrepreneurial. So when you look at our support system, is very one of our compliance based to tick the boxes. We don't really have people who are entrepreneurs like you and I who will go out there and understand the person to say, now it's month end, I'm not so sure, my mind is blocked. I'm not so sure that payment is going to come, or things like that. Or the person who on the state of saying, hey, I'm so frustrated, actually I want to quit. With our SMME consultants or business advisors that are employed, others to them is to say, I know, I saw that you don't have a spirit, without really listening to the person, because they don't have that understanding. They don't own businesses themselves. So that reconditioning is very important to people who are supposed to support SMME, because you can't run this marathon alone. Along the line, you need people who are going to give you water as you run this comrade marathon, you see. So, but we need people who are passionate, who are dedicated there. So the first part of your question really, so I answered that second part. I'm passionate about the second. I forgot, just remember.
So in terms of the courses that you guys have.
The courses, yes. So the courses that we do, one is about, firstly, like I said, we deal with the human side. We do firstly seminars, inspirational seminars, but where we say what is an inside job? How do you able to manage your mindset? How does the mind work? So we start there. So that's part and parcel of conditioning. And in that, in the seminars, you say how to prepare in order to get into this world of entrepreneurship. We do that. The second side is the art of starting, because many people, they have ideas and things like that, they can't start. So we hone into this element of art of starting. And then there's the issue of how to sharpen your mind as well to be competitive as well. But now on the courses themselves, we have what we call new venture creation. Is a accredited course with service seated at level 4, whereby we allay basically is a qualification for entrepreneurship. You can take it as a skills program, or you can take it as a full qualification. And in there, there are technical things from how to research a business, characteristics of an entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, production. But the other thing that we are accredited on is business advising. You remember, I was so passionate about the people who are standing in front and supposed to support entrepreneurs. So here we are training will-be business advisors in order for them to understand the issues, how to analyze the businesses, especially SMME and township businesses that are at the lower end of the market. So we do that, but as well we have what we call ETDP qualification with whereby we can train you as an assessor, as a facilitator, as a moderator, or as a business, not business coach per se, as a coach and mentor, but on the side of skills development. So we have that qualification. And then the other qualifications, they are actually from next week. I'm expecting, because we just extended our scope with services SETA, there will be the leadership and management side of it, as well qualification. So we'll be able to offer that.
Social media.
Yeah.
How are you guys using social media to grow your business? You know,
Yeah.
In terms of reach to the young ones, how are you using social media to grow this? Maybe let me hang 10 about social media. BEE, when people think about BEE,
Yeah.
enterprise development, you know, it's a very competitive space, you know. There's this connotation, you know, when you hear BEE, you just think, money.
Yeah.
There's something that's aligned with PE, and recently there were some changes on the PE structure, scorecard. Can you please just elaborate, just give us a bit of meat about that changing and how it helps entrepreneurs? For an entrepreneur who's out there, you know, who's trying to know more about PE, because some people, they don't fully understand PE and the space that you guys are in, competitiveness, you know, competing against certain organizations that are dominating, and you know, I don't know whether the bread is being shared evenly or you guys are getting crumbs, which, you know, if you want to share about it, it's up to you.
No, I'll share about it. And okay, maybe let me start to clarify the enterprise developments itself in terms of the code. So it has different levels and it depends where you want to play. So the first part on the BEE codes, it was looking at the issues of ownership. And they were trying to address these issues of a narrow BEE, because here is triple BEE, broad-based Black economic empowerment. So there is to ownership of already existing businesses, to say they need to transform from others is 26% and things like that, to say how do we get previously disadvantaged people to be there. So that's the first part. The second part is about management, to say, and as recently as I think last month, the Employment Equity Commissioner released some stats to say how is the private sector regressing actually, because you still find that whites, who are 8% of our population, they occupy 67% of senior management in corporate, and you find that blacks, who are over 80%, they are at least at 20% and things like that, and then Indians, they are at even further than that. So the second element of enterprise or BEE tries to address that point of how do we make representativity, whether it's race, gender, or sexuality, or people are disabled or something like that. So that's the second part of it. The third part of it tries to address the issues of skills development. You know, there are people, due to our history, people who were not able to finish matric or go to this, to say how do we encourage skills development, whether in government, in the community, or in the private sector. So that's the third element of it. Now, where enterprise comes in and the changes were is where now there's what we used to call in the previous quote, there used to be enterprise development and supplier development. So they combine them. So they've increased at the points so that actually there should be a more comprehensive intervention instead of them. So on the supplier side, they are saying businesses empower the people who are supplying you. If you are a Toyota, for example, people who are supplying you with parts and things like that, ensure that they are sustainable, ensure that they, and then where else enterprise development as well, this is why maybe they combine them, is to come with new enterprises that are able to make a difference, especially of previously disadvantaged individuals. So that's what it is. And then the last element to the BEE itself is what we call CSI, whereby I think 1% of that is paid in order to assist the communities where you are doing business, basically to be a good citizen as a business person. So that's what BEE is all about. Now, I'm sharing my views now. It is working, it does give us, some of us, a startup, but it's not the all. Because what now private sectors, even government is using it, is to keep us there. To say there's a small pie there, then they exclude us from the mainstream economy. And that's where we really need to. So the BEE, to a certain extent, it assists, but they still have challenges of fronting. They still have challenges of, you find a lily white company, it will have level 1 certificate or level 2 certificate to say it's BEE compliance with the ownership and things like that. So there's a lot of maybe exploitation of the act as well and in the implementation. But the intention is good, is to say, let's bring the guys who were historically disadvantaged to the business. But it is now used to keep us in there, like the crumbs that you were saying and things like that. But we are not in the main industry. And even if when you go to the even leadership side of management, mostly you'll find HR directors are black. Things that are, but when you come to business development, finance, they are still a little white. So it's something that is still a work in progress. We still need to go for it. Organizations that are involved in advocacy of black emancipation, they should not rest and think that they've arrived. So they need to go, but at some point in the future, I think, maybe it should not be necessary. But it should not be necessary after we have built our own enterprises and then we have changed the way the skew of the economy.
But how do you then build when, you are given crumbs or excluded in hierarchy of leadership? Because when we talk about sustainability, it's the knowledge. Yes, don't give me the money, but give me the knowledge to be sustainable so that afterwards I can carry on the conversation. As an entrepreneur, what's your thoughts about that? And women as well, Yes. Lately, women obviously are put forefront. They're favorable in terms of the business. What's your take about developing as well our women, not just them being the women in the kitchen, but being part of the economic growth of our country?
No, definitely. But capital is important to build sustainable businesses and big businesses. It's very important. Knowledge alone, it will not. You will have the knowledge and the passion, but capital is very important. And you should say, how do we do that? for me, and especially Africans, we need to use the levers that we have. And one of the levers that we have is the buying power that we have as an organization or as a people. But again, there are certain Africans or blacks that have really benefited from this BEE, and they've amassed some capital. It's for us really to sensitize them to say, as much as you have shares there and there, 10% there, 20% there, it is time to use that capital to really come, and especially now there's a talk of township and rural economy, to come and establish businesses that has enough capacity to create the value chain, the upstream or downstream, because hence I'm saying you do need capital, or at least be able to access capital because you are credit worthy or something like that. And for us to change this thing is when we get some of these big black capital that is changing, because even last week we were launching something with one of the people who are multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire, born from Soweto. Now he's coming back to invest back into Soweto, creating his own big chain store, whereby at least it will assist actually even SMME and compete. And it's for us now to use that lever to say, with what we have, can we support what is black? Can we support what is in township? And therefore, that's how then we can start circulating the rand. That is because what is unfortunate in Soweto, for example, they say there's 1 billion rand of money that is circulating, but it only goes there and then goes to Sandton quickly. But if we can be able to circulate that 1 rand within, now if this particular guy, his project succeed, he's going to look for bottled water produced by Sowetans and things like that. So you are able to build capacity from Vusi's bottled water, and then someone is a designer, we sell clothes from there. So from there, when we are able to control our finances, our money, we are now starting to build real businesses that are able to be sustainable in the future. So for me, we need really strategic leaders who are very courageous, who can see the bigger picture other than myself and my family, and say, how do we and then go out there and then sensitize our communities and use our money to build our own businesses. And that's the only way that we are going to do. Because I can tell you, our government or any government in the world, they will listen to people who have capital. Because those people, they can tell you, they can lobby, they have money to research, they have money to go and say to our parliamentarians, don't pass this legislation, pass this legislation. Until we have our own capital, therefore we'll be able to even influence the policy direction.
Very, very sketchy topic, eh? Hence you look at, McDonald's.
Yes.
They're all over. Yes. International brands coming to our own land and really dominating and taking all that money back to America. Or KFC. Every corner there's KFC. Sure. But we don't have Soli and versus KFC as same as footprint as McDonald's, Yeah. And women, what's your take about women into the economy? I think it's high time we start, as males, advocating for our women in terms of entrepreneurship and them really being promoted into, or them being part of the hierarchy in the whether enterprise development or entrepreneurship. Seeing that you started this business, with your partner,
Yeah, I have utmost respect for women, and actually, I'm still puzzled why women are not even playing in this space. But I guess it's our history, the way they were taught, like you said earlier, to say no, you are in the kitchen. For me, I've seen, okay, to start with, they are a majority in terms of population. Over 53% of our population are women. So we need to encourage them. We need to encourage them to believe in themselves. But there are signs to show that they are really coming up, and we should try to promote them and protect them. But here's the thing. You still need to be an entrepreneur. You can't, as a woman, say, and like us as blacks, to say, okay, my competitive advantage is because I'm a woman or I'm black. You still need to craft a business case that makes sense. However, definitely, I think the doors are opening up for them. The only issue that I have, and maybe my black consciousness will come, I thought I will suppress it. You see, when we say women, I'm getting worried because I know, especially in our industry of enterprise development, the money is still going to whites because they are saying there's a white woman. What they did the previously, they took their wives, their or ex or their daughters, cousins, and things like that, and then they created companies. And now, but they have the backup of Mr. Van der Merwe. But now I'm competing with Mrs. Van der Merwe from the scratch. You see, and then when they look, they say, but no, she's woman, previously disadvantaged and things. That is why you see white women, they go up and their businesses in enterprise. Go inside deep this thing. 80% of enterprise development providers who are successful are white women. So we are competing there. So I'm already, or even black ladies, of course, they are competing with white women. And my issue is, but we are not from the same path. They already have capital. Mr. Van der Merwe is still putting in. They have been having this thing. So the only part that I have, I will say, let's maybe identify black women. Because now when we cluster it only as women, you will still, you bring Mr. Van der Merwe, who at the back room, you don't see him, but he has all the muscle, he has all the knowledge, he has all the capital to fund Mrs. And that's what has been said in our industry, to say, even one of our senior guys in this enterprise development, they will tell you that, yeah, you know, we even trust white women because we know if we gave it to white women, they master this space of enterprise. And the space that's supposed to be for black, it's mastered by white women. And hence they come with solutions that are done somewhere in Houghton or somewhere else. They are not sustainable on the ground. So much money is poured on enterprise development, but you can't see the value, you can't see tangibles and things like that, because people, they are doing it on theory and things like that. So that's the only nag on women. But for black women, as in particular African women, please come on board. The space is there, and for my experience, I've seen actually more women, they are more successful in businesses, especially in the space that we belong
to. Social media as a business, how are you guys using it to, you know, grow the business, or how can entrepreneurs use it, and how important is it, you know, seeing that everyone is on their phone? You know,
we value it. To such an extent, we even hired 2 people to assist us with our social media. So we are still early in this industry. I think we started this year, and then we have even created those accounts from Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and things like that. And we are seeing it. And how we use it is, once we have in all our events, we do, some is live streaming or something like that, but we create hashtags to say maybe hashtag job creator or Monday motivation, and as a way of getting traction in the social media space. So we are still very new in it, but we have realized the importance of it, and especially like you said, almost every young person or they have a smartphone one way or the other. So it's easier to really relate a message and to many people, because the audience, the reach, you can get so many people. And when people retweet your thing or like them, you get to know other people, and the message goes in. So social media is the way to go. I was late, but we are committed to it. And to show our commitment, we hired younger people to come and assist us with this one.
Vision, you know.
Yeah, but you need to follow us on these links for our social media, so that I know we have at Facebook is Moripe Holdings, Twitter is @Moripe _Holdings, and LinkedIn is Moripe Holdings as well, and Instagram is @Moripe Holdings. Yeah, so that's where you can follow us. Please follow us, guys.
Make sure, guys, you follow. Vision, you know, where to, you know, like the land of the unknown as an entrepreneur, you know, aligned with your vision as the CEO of Moripe Holdings. Where to from now?
Thank you for that question. Basically, this is what has kept us going, including tough times, bad times. So long as you know where you are going, it's very important. And where we are going, maybe when we start at the end, is to establish colleges, private colleges, the likes like big players like your Damelin, Boston, and things like that. We want to see Moripe Business Academy owning those things. But we are going to be focusing townships in particular, because we know that there's a need there, and they need our services as well. But the vision is to have those, and we are already there. Actually, I think we are even 60% there in realizing our vision, because we got the necessary accreditations, we got this thing with the relevant authorities in there. So it's a matter of identifying location and building a proper capital in order to sustain that and kickstart this thing. So one day when we see ourselves there, and of course we want to be a national and an international organization. We want to see, firstly, increasing our footprint in other African continents, and then later into international. But international, I suspect, will use technology as well, you know, the online trainings and things like that. But the vision, the biggest tangible thing that we are going for is to owning colleges that are well branded and well producing quality education, and making sure that we produce more entrepreneurs, as many as possible.
Thank you so much, sir, for allowing us to come to your organization and sharing, you know, your story about your entrepreneurial endeavor, the highs, the lows, and to really add value and to emphasize or to give a stamp to say entrepreneurial. It's really a marathon. Yeah. And we hope to, you know, catch up with you sometime and to continue this kind of conversations. I think it's high time as entrepreneurs or as leaders, we really start to have this kind of issues or topics that are aligned to entrepreneur in terms of what makes an entrepreneur, what is entrepreneur, what is value, what is profit, you know, and dishing it out for free, where you're sparing your time from your busy schedule just to give us time to take knowledge and put it out there into the universe. It means the world to us, you know, and this is part of the national legacy that we're doing.
No, I appreciate you coming in as well with your team. We really appreciate it. And to the entrepreneurs there or aspiring entrepreneurs, I think you need to have a farmer's mindset actually. You know, farmers, they will plant today. They are not expecting to reap tomorrow or to harvest tomorrow. So at times it can take 3 months, 6 months, and so we need to have a long-term vision or mindset, so that in order to complete this thing, and we need to pace ourselves. You know, in a marathon, you can't start with high sprint and things like that. You need to pace. But if you are really committed to this, there is space for new entrepreneurs. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs. And we need you. We need more of you. Don't be scared by competition. There is space. You just have to find your niche and get the necessary people to assist you throughout the journey.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Marathon. You know, I hope this episode added value to you and it reconditioned you that was watching an entrepreneur. You know, it's all about adding value into someone's life. It's all about changing the narrative of an African entrepreneurship. You know, don't forget to subscribe, like below on all of our social platforms. We're on TikTok, we're on LinkedIn, we're on podcast, Instagram. Your comment is our oxygen to keep on doing what we're doing, all for free. Thank you so much. Peace. Let's get it. Woo!